This is Mark Hill, the Traveling NP. I wanted to broach a subject today that I was thinking about for especially the new nurse practitioners that are coming on to locum tenens, and that is working with staffing companies and especially recruiters and account managers. As I've said in a previous video, there are literally hundreds of staffing agencies out there, and it's a very lucrative industry to staff healthcare facilities with providers and nurses and radiology techs or whatever. When you get into this business and you put your name out there, you get on some of these job boards and you put your name into a certain company or whatever, somehow your name is going to be distributed wide and far, and you're going to be getting messages and emails and phone calls from agencies that you've never even heard of before. Some of them just completely obscure, and you're going to be getting recruited by recruiters who are just like regular people, just like nurse practitioners, just like doctors, just like anybody else. Some of them, their personalities are really going to click, and you're going to get along with them, and everything's going to be fine. And there are some of those recruiters that are just going to aggravate the piss out of you, and their personality is just great on you. You're going to have some good recruiters, and you're going to have some bad recruiters. I've dealt with all types. If I get a recruiter that's just really kind of working my nerves or whatever, I don't deal with that company. You've got all kinds of companies. You've got big companies, you got little companies, you got companies that are too big, and you've got companies that are too small. I think that there's got to be a happy medium. I think you need some wheelhouse companies that are not too big or too small. People that can offer a lot of services, companies that can do a lot of the credentialing for you, do a lot of the licensing for you, a company that's big enough to pay for your license, a company that has a credentialing department and a licensing department. Those are good things. I work with a company now who does not have a credentialing department or a licensing department, and the majority of it's left up to me. Now, I want to work with this company because they have some great sites, and they also pay well. So I choose to do a lot of the legwork myself, but I can tell you it's a pain, because doing all the credentialing yourself and the licensing yourself can be rough. Trying to get all the paperwork together and everything together, and it can be a nightmare. So some of the other companies that I've worked for, I worked for one regional company that they have a credentialing department and a licensing department, and they've been doing it a long time, and they do a good job. It's a smaller regional company. So a lot of it depends on the personnel that they have involved. So when you get your name out there and you start working with locum tenens, you're going to be bombarded. People are just going to be coming in from every angle, trying to get you to do this, do that. It's going to be overwhelming. I've been overwhelmed numerous times. You go from not knowing if you're going to have enough work to, before you know it, having too much work offered to you, and you're always scared that you're going to be not doing what's best for you. And I say that because it is a known fact in the locum tenens industry. You are the only person that's going to take care of you. Now, these recruiters and these contract people who hold the contracts and who you talk to, they're going to give you or try to give you the impression that they're all about you. Well, just let me tell you, they're all about them. These companies are all about these companies. They want to give you the impression that they are here to serve you, and in reality, you are their boss, because without you, they don't get paid. So you have to keep that in mind when you're going into business with these companies. You're the boss. They need you. You don't need them. because there's always somebody else coming around. So you want to deal with them professionally. You want to always know that these people are getting paid. When they sign you up and you go in an assignment, they're making big money. Some of them make large sums of money. I've heard quotes of up to 25% of your contract they get paid. So if you work a 13-week contract and you make $40,000 over the course of that contract, that company stands to make 10 grand off of that contract just for their services. And I'm sure in some cases it could be more. Now, different companies have different ways of getting reimbursed or whatever. And I also know, for example, if you go to work for a place, let's say you work in locum tenens, and you decide, hey, I want to stay here and I want to take a contract. That hospital or clinic or emergency room or whatever, they have to buy you out of your contract. And that is often an exorbitant amount of money. I've heard $25,000 to $30,000 payoff just to get you out of your existing contract with the locums company. So there's big money in it for them. You think about a locums company, if they've got 100 people working 13-week contracts, and they've got all these providers working, and they're making $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 every 3 months per locums provider, that adds up pretty quick. Now, the reality of it is that most of these big companies, they have hundreds and even thousands of providers. Some of these account managers are managing literally hundreds of accounts. And they're getting paid a little piece of that pie. You are, remember this, as a locum tenens provider, you are the talent. These recruiters and these account managers and these bigwigs for these companies, they're just bean counters and pencil pushers. You are the talent. Make them work for you. Don't be afraid to say no. If you're getting lowballed and you know you're getting lowballed and you'll get lowballed, just say no. Just say, hey, I'm not going to work for that. If they come in and they want you to work in an emergency room, they want to pay you $55 an hour, you just kind of laugh and say, yeah, you know what, I'm not doing that. And guess what? In a day or two, they're going to come back and say, hey, well, would you do this? Now, they're going to have a limit of what they can do. So, because they have each facility has a budget that they have to meet, and out of that budget, they pay you, and then they have to pay the company a percentage of your contract. So, and they're all set up a little bit differently, and I don't know all the ins and outs of that, but I know this. It is a business. This is business. If you get your feelings hurt easily and you can't tell people no, and you're easily pushed around by fast-talking recruiters and people who are promising you the world, this ain't the business for you, because these people are going to railroad you, and they're going to make big money off of you. And the other thing, too, is that you got to remember, these hospitals and these clinics, they are looking for locum tenens providers because they have to have them. They don't have providers to cover the patients they have. You are the talent. You have to go in there with confidence, and you have to take care of yourself. You can't worry about the recruiter that signs you up or the account manager. Look, they may be nice people. That's all great. They're doing their job. You have to do your job to take care of yourself, because those people are taking care of themselves, and they're really, in the end, they're not worried about you. If you weren't making them money, you wouldn't even know them. So remember, these companies are working for you. As a private contractor, you employ them. Okay? They're wanting to make it look like they employ you, but in reality, you employ them. They're making money off of your sweat and your labor and your knowledge. You are the talent. Remember that. So go into each situation knowing that you have leverage. Now, early on, you're going to have to take some positions that you don't necessarily want. You got to prove yourself a little bit. You got to show that you can work and do the job, get some good good experience. You got to get some good recommendations. But remember, you are the talent. You are the person calling the shots. You can say yes, you can say no. And guess what? If you need to move on to a different company or a different recruiter, that's what you can do too. Find what fits you. And another thing too, don't settle for one company. Don't get bogged down thinking that one company is going to meet all your needs, because they very seldom do. Now, some people have good luck staying with one company. I have not. I'm on rolls now with 5 companies, and I'm working with 3 of them on different contracts at different times, and looking to look for a 4th one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so I've got another assignment at the end of the year with a 4th company. So that'll be 4 companies that I've worked with, or they've worked for me this year. So I'm not settling. I'm not sticking with one person. There is no loyalty. They have no loyalty to you. Remember that. There is no loyalty. You're wasting your time, and you're spitting in the wind if you think your loyalty is going to mean a hill beans to them. You are a commodity. You make money for them. Take care of yourself. This is Mark Hill, the Traveling NP. Thanks a lot. Talk to you soon.